For years, the Ram 1500 has traded on its lusty V8 engine and big truck capabilities. But now the iconic HEMI has been axed, leaving us with one big question. Has this pickup truck lost its edge, or will the new Hurricane engine be enough to blow the competition away? Let's find out. If you loathe the sight of full-size pickup trucks on Aussie roads, well, you can blame Ram, because it basically pioneered the segment when it launched down under 10 years ago. And for a good chunk of that time, the Ram 1500 has been the top-selling US pickup here in Oz. Now in its 5th generation, the 1500 has undergone a fairly significant midlife update. Most notably, there's no more V8. It's a trend we've seen across the big American ute segment, and in fact, the only full-size pickup you can buy here new with V8 power today is the Chevrolet Silverado. Yep, all the others have already downsized. While the outgoing Ram 1500 kicked off from around $120,000, the new one is available in 2 high-spec variants. The Laramie Sport in standard output, which you can see here, and the top spec Limited in high output guise. Now pricing kicks off from just over $140,000, and because these are pitched as luxury utes, there's a lot of standard equipment on offer here. As before, Ram covers the new 1500 with a 3-year, 100,000 kilometre warranty, and services are due every 12 months or 12,000 kilometres. But there's no capped price servicing. If you're looking for obvious changes, you'll be able to spot the new 1500 by its revised headlights, fascia and front grille, along with new tail lights and fresh wheel designs. The Limited comes standard with a black pack option available overseas, giving it a slightly tougher look, with blacked out mirror caps, door handles, badges, grille and window mouldings. But the most controversial change is here under the bonnet, and it's called the Hurricane. Meet the 1500's new heart. It's an inline 6-cylinder bolstered by not 1 but 2 turbochargers. As mentioned, it comes in 2 outputs, standard or high, and you'll be glad to know that even the standard guys, this one here, is more powerful and has more torque than the outgoing V8. Every version of the Ram 1500 sends power to all 4 wheels via the same 8-speed automatic transmission as before, but while it is more fuel efficient now, there are some compromises when it comes to the towing capabilities. While the V8 powered Ram could tow up to 4.5 tonnes with a 70mm tow ball, only the standard output version of the new truck can do the same. The higher output Limited is limited to 4.2 tonnes, but the good news is payload has increased for both variants. Inside there are a few new bits in here which I'll touch on in a second, but essentially not much has changed. This thing is big. In fact, it's huge, and that's what a lot of people love about these big utes. But there's also a luxury feel to the interior that really sets this dual cab apart. Power-operated side steps aid ingress and egress, while in flagship form you get premium leather upholstery with massaging front seats, as well as heating and ventilation for front and outboard rear seats. There's also a dual pane sunroof, LED interior lighting, and a leather and wood-clad steering wheel. Storage, well, as you guessed, pretty good. There's lots of cup holders, lots of little nooks and crannies and places to store things. If you've got a bottle like this, you won't fit it in there, so you can either stuff it in there, which is pretty deep, and you can move that around backwards and forwards, or put that in one of the very many side pockets in the doors. There's lots of storage there. Glove box. You've also got dual wireless phone charging ports here now as well, so you can stuff your phone in there. Nice place to put it, and it's sort of wedged in there so it's not going to go moving around. One of those new bits in the updated Ram 1500 is this. It's a new 14.4-inch portrait-style infotainment screen, and although we haven't spent a great deal of time with it today, it's been pretty responsive in the short amount of time we've been playing around with it. Pretty fast to load different menus, and yeah, no complaints there. Standard features include wireless smartphone mirroring and navigation, but you don't get digital radio or a head-up display. The Ram 1500 doesn't come with an ANCAP crash test rating, but Ram says it's working with the safety firm to get the big Ute's ADAS features tested. But it's worth mentioning that only the range-topping Limited trim gets every safety feature on the menu. If you go for the Laramie Sport, you'll be missing out on things like traffic sign recognition and a 360-degree camera. There's also this new entertainment screen for the passenger. It's a 10.25-inch unit that has this privacy film over it, so you can only see it if you're sitting in this passenger seat, so it's not going to distract me while I'm driving. And essentially you pair your phone up with this HDMI cable here, plug it in, and you can stream whatever you're watching on your phone, YouTube. You can also connect to the outside cameras of the car so you can see what's happening unless the car is in reverse. But yeah, it's a cool new feature. If you've never seen in the second row of a Ram 1500 before, welcome. As you can see, there's heaps of legroom. You could probably have a nap down here if you really wanted to. There's not as much headspace as I sort of expected, but yeah, still, it's very wide, feels really spacious in terms of this area at least. Still lots of little storage options, cup holders, big door pockets. The only thing you miss out on in this Laramie Sport compared to the top spec Limited is ventilated seats for the outboard seats. So you only get heated outboard rear seats, whereas the top spec Limited gets ventilation as well. Even more storage can be found in the second row with hidden compartments in the floor and under the rear seat, while other features include 4 USB ports and a fold-down center armrest. In the rear half, not a lot has changed. You still get a Rambox storage compartment on either side, no matter which variant you go for. But now there's an electric assisted tailgate, so you can use the key fob to open it, or you can use the button under here to open and close it, make it go back up electrically, or if you just give it a little bit of a push, it'll go back up itself. You also get this neat little step under here, which you can kick out, get up in there, do what you need to do, and then hope it doesn't take your foot off when you go to kick it back in. As mentioned, payload for the new 1500 has increased by a good margin compared to the outgoing model. All right, enough talk. Let's see how brutal this Hurricane feels. Well, first on the menu, some acceleration testing. Let's go. Oh, that's pretty quick. What do we got? 6.23 seconds to 100 Ks. Not too bad. All right, now for a second run in the standard output, just to see if that 6.2 was a fluke or not. Oh, that start I don't think was as good, but we'll see how we go. Wow, it's 6.07. Jeez. Much better that time. So that was a better launch. And
yeah, that's the quickest we've done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that was in normal mode, but now we're gonna give it a go in sport and see if it can go any quicker. So we'll load it up and we're off. Oh, that feels fast. Foot's flat, 5.01. Tiny bit faster, so 5.01 seconds in the high output Ram 1500. For a big, heavy ute, the new 1500 is seriously quick. And with all said and done, no one could beat our final 0 to 100 km/h run of 5.01 seconds in the high output variant. In the standard output, our quickest time to 100 km/h from standstill was 6.07 seconds. Pretty good considering the outgoing V8 powered 1500 did it in around 7 seconds. Well, now that we know that there's plenty of pace and speed here, let's talk comfort. Now, these big American pickup trucks are usually pretty comfortable, and this one is no different. There's air suspension in this top spec Limited version, and yeah, it's really plush. A few little bumps in the road there, but you hardly feel them inside the cabin. It's just this big, luxurious feeling, almost SUV-like feel to it. It's just, yeah, really big and comfy. Really quiet in here. Remember, there's no roaring V8 under the bonnet, so there's not a lot of sound from that 6-cylinder unless you really plant it. And then you hear a little bit from it, but still, yeah, it's really nice and quiet in this cabin. It'd be really nice to do a big long road trip in. Another thing the new 1500 should do pretty well is fuel economy. Now, we don't have any specs yet from Ram, but I can tell you the average fuel consumption in this car, which we have been doing some pretty hard acceleration testing in, so it's probably a little bit off or a fair way off. It's currently sitting at 18.9 litres per 100k, so that's pretty high up there, and that's what you would have seen in V8 models if you were doing fairly average sort of driving in the last Ram 1500. So you should see that come down a fair way if you're driving, you know, regularly and not doing 0 to 100 sprint acceleration testing. In terms of visibility, nothing's really changed. There's a lot of big glass work here. It's really easy to see out of and yeah, quite nice to drive. By the end of the day, we saw some very impressive fuel numbers from the Laramie Sport on test, which, after some more relaxed laps around Lang Lang's ride and handling track, delivered an impressively low fuel consumption reading of just 6 litres per 100 kilometres. They say there's no replacement for displacement, but the new Ram 1500 proves that sometimes less is more. Look, we haven't spent a lot of time with these cars today. We haven't done any towing and we haven't been out driving in the real world. But even still, first impressions are good. There's a lot of equipment here for a pretty good price. And I don't think that anyone's really going to miss the V8 because this is plenty powerful enough. Yeah, you might miss the sound of the V8, but you're not going to miss it at the fuel bowser. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this first look at the new Ram 1500 Down Under. Make sure you hit subscribe so you stay up to date with all our latest videos, and if you like the new Ram 1500, give this video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you like about it.